Marvel's Daredevil 2015 to 2018 by Daniel Miller 8867. The specific scene that I've chosen to go for is the hallway fight scene in Marvel's Daredevil Season 1. Marvel's Daredevil is an American web television series based on the Marvel Comics character superhero with the same name. The show is produced by Marvel Television and airs on Netflix and was created by Drew Goddard, with Stephen S.D. Knight serving as the show's showrunner for their first season. The show follows Matt Murdock as he gets blinded by a chemical freak accident as a child, but instead of making Matt Murdock limited, he gained superhuman senses that allowed him to see the world in a more different, unique and powerful way. He now uses his newfound power to deliver justice as both a lawyer and vigilante, stalking the streets as the titular hero known as Daredevil, where he hunts the streets without fear. Matthew Murdock is trained in the arts of fighting, trying to survive against his long-term enemy Wilson Fisk, aka Kingpin. Cinematography is the art of photography and camera work in filmmaking. The elements I'll be looking at in my presentation are shot types, themes, color and lighting, costumes, character performance, and sound. This shot shows Matt Murdock donning his Daredevil outfit, walking in from the right side of the screen to enter into the hallway to start trouble. This is a zoom-in shot. This shot pans to the left. Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil, goes to enter into a room he hears noise from, and goes to try and stop any disruption that may be happening within the room. Daredevil focuses more on the theme of atonement and fear, but there's also a lot of political undercurrents that comes to the surface within Marvel's Daredevil. Daredevil is an anti-hero of sorts who will fight crime for what he feels is the right reason, even if sometimes it may not be. Kingpin and Daredevil have been at each other's throats for about as long as each character has existed, the complete antithesis of one another. While Kingpin has gotten into it with other heroes, notably Spider-Man, he's always going to be Daredevil's main foil, even greater than that of Bullseye. In this scene, the camera movement is zooming in to create very different emotional and psychological effects to make people think, what is going on? And make people go, wow. The gang members go back and forth, continuously trying to fight off Matt Murdock. Static and zoom out shot. Matt Murdock struggles to get back up, as well as the gang member, but they try to continue the fight till the last man is standing. These two shots are static shots. Mise en scène. The stage design and arrangement of actors in scenes for a theatre or film production, both in visual arts through storyboarding, visual theme and cinematography, and in narrative storytelling through direction. Producers tend to use mise en scène to introduce the scene that is going to happen, the rundown of colour and lighting, costumes, and their performance as actors and actresses. All these little things that are done allow the audience to create whatever feeling they want to specific characters, allows them to define how they feel about these characters. Very dark colours are presented, with slight bright colours. The dark colours are meant to cloak Matt Murdock's face, while he's wearing his Daredevil outfit. The entire scene is meant to be slightly dark, with slight light glimpses to make the atmosphere feel more intense. Stephen S.D. Knight has used low-key lighting in this scene to create harsh shadows, further illustrating the power, hatred, and darkness Matt Murdock's Daredevil represents. Stephen S.D. Knight has gone with the specific colour shading he has gone with to further represent the emotion and feeling within the show as many other scripters do. The colour and lighting is bland, follows the generalised mood setting that most films with fighting hold. Mixture of dark and light to hide some things, but not too much, enough to keep it visible. The lighting in this specific scene shows the fear and anger from one of the gang members as Daredevil has randomly waltzed in and started beating them up. Pan left. Stephen S. D. Knight uses pan and zoom shots to make this specific scene of the gang member getting kicked through the door seem more intense and interesting. Because of the camera continuously moving, it makes it all seem more interesting and intriguing to the human eye. The fast-paced music and continuous punching sounds make the fight seem intense and creates a wow factor for audiences. You can also see that Matt Murdock is getting sick of the gang members at this point. A lot of people would generally not be interested if they heard about a blind guy in a costume goes around and fights crime, because originally that was the general idea for Daredevil. After a set amount of years, however, Marvel Studios decided to change Daredevil's story slightly to make him seem more dangerous. That is where Marvel Studios produced the idea to make it so chemicals had hit his eyes at a young age and blinded him, but enhanced all his other senses to superhuman levels. By making him blind, but due to a chemical reaction. This allowed Matt Murdock to have heightened senses, better than that of any normal person or any other person who were to also become blind. Because of Matt Murdock's newfound senses, he trained himself to hone his senses better, was able to run around and hit people with a stick with ease, avoid getting hit, most of the time, and eventually decided he wanted to do a split job of being a lawyer and fighting crime, basically to assist him to take out his anger issues. All the costumes in Marvel's Daredevil are built solely to represent the stylization of the characters throughout Marvel Comics history, in this case, more based towards ones who are connected in with the titular hero known as Daredevil. Most of the cast wear basic outfits like any other normal person does. However, the heroes and villains will wear outfits that match their comic counterparts. Generally, not all the costumes are 100% accurate. However, certain outfits needed changes due to the ridiculousness of their outfits. Charlie Cox did a reasonable performance of playing Daredevil's Matt Murdock. However, he should have donned his Daredevil outfit much earlier in the series, so it didn't seem like a guy running around in rags for most of the show. It is very clear that Charlie Cox is the main character, but he could have been represented much smoother. Vincent D'Onofrio had the perfect look for Wilson Fisk, aka Kingpin. However, a lot of the time, his acting was set out quite poor. He did not try to be the character hard enough and lacked in that category. However, it is clear who Vincent D'Onofrio is trying to be, and he even dons his usual look. The scene is perfectly matched with the song score composed by John Pisano. The song itself holds a certain energy that works very well with the video and the mood within the video. The music does not stay too dim or get too loud, just a slight background sound which works perfect for what is going on in the moment. When the fighting finishes, all the sound dies off as they crash back out the door that was broken earlier on in the start of the scene. These are my references: IMBD, YouTube, and comicsbeat.com. If you would like to check them out, you can search up these links. Thank you for watching.